Today what I'd like to show you is how to make this double braided ribbon lay. I really like it because it has a more substantial look to it, and so one strand of the lay is a very nice gift. And once you know the technique to make it, it's fairly easy to make. So what you need are 4 rolls of ribbon. I'm going to be making a green and yellow ribbon lay today, so I need 2 rolls of green and 2 rolls of yellow. I find this ribbon at my local craft store or discount store, and they're about 50 cents to $1 a roll. So that means for $2 to $4 I can make a double braided ribbon lay. This is the 1/4 inch ribbon and it's 10 yards long, and that really makes the best double braided ribbon lay. What I like to do, because you work your ribbons in pairs and it's important to keep your pairs distinct and together, I just take a large paper clip and slip it through my rolls of ribbon, bend the ends of the paper clip, and that way it keeps each pair of ribbons together. So now to set up, you want to have your 2 pairs of ribbons, and you need to determine what color ribbon you want on the outside of your lay. In this lay, the red was on the outside and the white on the inside, and you need to determine that before you start. So on my lay today, I want to have the green on the outside. So on my right hand pair of ribbons, I'm going to make a knot in my yellow, or this will be my inside color, and a loop in my outside color, and leave a tail a few inches long. That'll help you when you're finishing the lay at the very end. With your other pair of ribbons, make a knot in your outside color, which is my green, and then make a loop in your inside color, which is my yellow. So what I'm going to do is take my loop or outside color and place it through my knotted loop. Simply slip it through, straighten out your ribbons, and do the same on this side. Take your knotted ribbon and slip the other one, which is your inside color, through the knot, through the loop of the knotted one. And you want to lay them this way. So the next step, and before we do the next step, make sure in each of your pairs that you have your tail underneath the main part of your ribbon. That'll just make it easier when you're doing your braiding. So take a moment here and double check that. Then take your left hand pair of ribbons and lay them like this. Now this is a very important step, and stop and double check and triple check and make sure you're doing this correctly. I want to have my green on the outside of my double braided ribbon lay. So I want to have my yellow knot and my green loop on this side, and then on top of that, lay your green knot with your yellow loop and lay them here. Again, double check, triple check. Make sure that we have this step correct. So now that we have everything set up, I'm going to start braiding through the upper loop, the green loop. In the beginning it's a little bit more difficult. Once we get braiding, everything stays in place and it's much easier, so don't get discouraged. But I use my finger to hold everything in place. Because we're working in pairs, you want to find the yellow ribbon that goes with this upper green one. Make a loop and place it through the green. Again, I take the time to make sure everything stays in place so that you'll have a nice, neat braiding. Once you get it in place, hold it there, and I switch my hands around. Then what you want to do is pull the green ribbon taut so that it'll hold the yellow in place. Take the time to straighten things out, and there we've got the first step. Now for the next one, we want to go through this yellow loop. Find its green partner and slip it through. Usually I try to keep my loops larger. It makes it easier to slip the corresponding loop through. Pull it through. Take the time to straighten everything out nice and neat. And now what you're going to want to do is find the yellow ribbon that you just went through and pull it taut. Then I'm going to go back and pull this green one taut and get everything nice and neat and organized so that that'll keep our braiding neat once we get farther along in the process. So next we're going to go in the top loop, find the yellow ribbon that goes with it, its pair, pull it through, get everything nice and neat, and then pull the green to make it taut. Now what I do is I hold my finger underneath to help keep the bottom loop taut as you're pulling the ribbon. Sometimes you'll get excess ribbon down here. Our next step will be to go through this yellow ribbon with its green pair. So again, take the time to make sure things are nice and neat. Put your ribbon through. Hold it in place, find the yellow and pull it taut. Straighten things up. So now again we're going through the top and it's a green, so we need its corresponding yellow. If your ribbon twists like that, take a moment to straighten it out. Pull the green taut. Everything's starting to look neat. Take a minute and see if anything needs to be tightened up. Again, once we get going farther along, it'll be easier because the braiding will hold the ends of the ribbons in place better. We need to finish up this pairing by going through that yellow. Find the yellow tail and pull it taut. And this ribbon twisted, so I'm going to take a moment, straighten it out. And there we go. So as I'm braiding along, one of the tips that I want to give you is if you have to stop braiding, always stop when you've completed 2 of the loops. So let me explain. So I'm going to go through this top loop with my yellow ribbon that's its matching pair. And that guy wanted to get caught. Okay, so there we go. And if for some reason I had to stop now and go somewhere, when I come back I'm going to be confused which is the next one I start with. So if I have to finish, if I have to step away, I either go ahead and complete both of the loops, because this way when I come back I know this is my next starting loop. Or if there's an emergency, if someone's yelling, "Mom, Mom," and I need to go, I've been known to, rather than stopping here, just pull this out. And then I know next time I have to start here and I'll have to make this a little bit bigger. But that way I don't lose track and get confused. So as you're working on your lei, you'll want to continue to measure it. You want your lei to be approximately 40 to say 48 inches long. If this is for a graduation lei, then it is better for it to be longer, because as they pile up on the students' necks, it gives it more room for the leis to stack on top of each other if it's a little bit longer. If you have a taller graduate or a person you're giving the lei to, then make it longer, make it closer to the 48. But if you're just giving a single lei or giving it to a shorter person, then make it closer to the 40-inch length. So when you're getting close to the end of your the length of the lei, go ahead and do your weaving. Let me do one more loop here and then we'll call this the end. You'll tighten it up. And then all you want to do is pass the pair, so the matching one, through the loop and tighten it down. So on this one it'll be this one, and I'm going to cross over so you have the final woven part, and pull it down, pull it tight, and then you can just tie all these ribbons together to make a knot. You can clearly see how the pattern turns out looking. And this is customarily the front side, but the back side is equally pretty. So you could make the lei this way if you wanted a more graphic lei, but traditionally this is considered the front of the lei, and it tends to lay better this way also. So then what you'll do is you'll tie your ends shut together. Sometimes what I do is tie them and then I just take a few stitches and stitch them together. So once you've either sewn together or tied together the ends of your lei, you'll just want to add a coordinating ribbon bow. And you can make it fuller, smaller, bigger, fancier, just depending on the graduate or the recipient of your lei. And then you'll just join this to cover up the ends of your leis. Sometimes, as you can see on the ribbon, when I just simply tie the ends of the lei together, I leave the extra ribbons to add a little bit more fullness to the bow. If you want a more traditional one, then you would remove those, so it's simply the bow. But I kind of like that extra bit of festive ribbon there. So it took about maybe an hour and 15 minutes to make this ribbon lei. It's a great portable craft that you can take.